with the Mob Wives TV shows, the Jersey Shores, the Love and Hip Hops, you know, the Atlanta Housewives, like the Housewives. It's like all these reality TV shows with women in there, if not about women, and they are expressing themselves in these really mean and nasty ways. It's not something that is attractive. It's not something that is feminine in any way, shape, or form. And it just goes to show how the detriment of Venus is being expressed through women versus the more sophisticated, loving, honorable state of feminine energy. Peace and prosperity. This is Asaya and welcome back to Earth's Feminine. If you are new here, welcome. This is the channel where you can come and learn all about primal feminine energy, the original feminine energy before colonization, before all of the conditioning and programming around feminine energy, and the way that we view ourselves as women and the collective feminine energy all around us. In today's video, I'm going to be talking to you guys today about how to be in your feminine energy through the planet of Venus. So I've talked about on this channel before how Venus is currently being expressed in her detriment here on this planet right now through the embodiment of women all over the world. And the reason for this, especially in the Western world, is because we are using the symbol of Venus to represent the dominant feminine energy of the planet, the dominant feminine energy of women. And this is inaccurate because the dominant feminine energy of the planet is not Venus, it is the Earth. The second dominant feminine energy of the planet is actually the feminine energy that comes from the moon, and so on and so forth, right? So we have these two very powerful feminine planets influencing us here. Then we get to Venus, because Venus is the morning and evening star. Venus is a very huge part of the energy we experience here on Earth. So Earth and Venus have a very close relationship. Venus is not the dominant energy of this planet. Earth is. And so what this ends up doing, because we are not giving honor and reverence to the fact that Earth is the dominant feminine energy of this planet, women are currently expressing Venusian energy in her detriment instead of the predominant feminine energy of this planet, which is Earth feminine energy. So when I talk about primal feminine energy, this is essentially the energy that I am talking about. Earth has been taken out of the picture in a lot of ways, especially in astrology, modern Western astrology, and it hasn't been for no reason. Earth has been taken out of the picture for a very long time. It's been done intentionally because if a woman was to embody Earth's feminine energy, it would put an end to a lot of the people pleasing, a lot of the enabling, a lot of the compromising, a lot of the needing to seek balance over needing to be a solid example for what life looks like on this planet. All of that would be rectified. This video is also about embarking on that journey to heal your Venus detriment and step into a healthy expression of light feminine energy instead of the light feminine energy that causes so many women to feel fearful of being in their feminine, to feel like they'll get taken advantage of if they step into their feminine. This is going to be ways that I have stepped into a healthy relationship with my Venusian energy that's allowed me to fully embrace my light feminine energy and feel powerful in my light feminine energy, because the light feminine energy is now being balanced with the primal feminine energy, with the dark feminine energy, with the earth feminine energy. I'm going to be sharing some powerful things that are going to help you start out on your journey of embracing your true light feminine energy and having a healthier relationship with your Venus. So I want to start off by saying that men are attracted to women who have a healthy relationship with their Venus, just like women are attracted to men who have a healthy relationship to their Mars. Okay, I've talked about this before in another one of my videos. It's also the same for men, to where they've been labeled as being from Mars and having this majority Mars energy, when really that's not true. And so it causes them to kind of have a distorted relationship with Mars. Being in touch with your Venus energy allows you to attract men that also have healthy relationships with their Mars or any other masculine planets in their chart. So when you as a woman have a healthy Venus, you are exuding the energy that lets this man know, or lets the men around you know, that you are a truly beautiful soul. There is something very beautiful, exquisite, and delicate about you that must be protected, that must be taken care of, and they must be in your presence so that they can experience this peace and serenity in their own life. The first way that you want to begin to really heal your relationship with Venus is you want to really see how you are embodying balance in your life. This is something that I learned when I decided to start offering programs and courses and taking on clients, was that there was a code of ethics essentially to the exchange of information, and also exchanging, high ticket or, thousands of dollars worth of information, right? There's a code of ethics that came into play with that. And as I went down that journey, I learned a lot about how if you're exchanging information with someone who's paying you thousands of dollars to get access to it, would it make sense for you to give away that same information to people who have done nothing, or to people who haven't shown you that they actually value the information that you have to give? Would it make sense for someone to continue to pay or invest high amounts or any amount of money with you if you are giving the same things away to other people for free and you're not thinking anything of it? And so this is a pattern that I saw in working with other women. Say I would do a partnership or something like that. In the past, I did run a sisterhood with another woman, and once we started charging for the entry into the sisterhood, I immediately started to see how she was focused on having this attitude of service, that she wasn't paying attention to whether or not people had signed or had paid on the back end, or whether or not she was requiring people to, right? We would have new women come into the group, and it would be weeks before she would even actually she would never, it's almost like she wasn't even paying attention to, ethically, you have all of these other women paying to be a part of the sisterhood. It's almost like you're afraid to pull these women to the side or ask these women, can you put your investment in, right, for the sisterhood, because you haven't been paying, or you haven't signed up yet. So it was like I can tell there was this fear with her around really enforcing those standards. And this applies to your relationships with the masculine as well. If you attract a man and he puts in a certain level of effort into just getting the chance to spend time with you, would it make sense for you to turn around and let the next man just come in and use up all your time for free, or with like for half of the effort? No, it wouldn't. So it doesn't make sense for me as a woman to not raise my standards when a man comes into my life and surpasses the next man as to what he shows me is possible in my receivership. It just doesn't make sense for me to then, after being treated at such a high caliber, to turn around and lower the bar for the next man because I like him, or because I have a soft spot for him, or because whatever the case may be. You still need to keep those same standards and live by those standards as a woman in order for you to be balanced with your Venus energy. Because when you don't, you end up taking on this energy of like, I'm for everybody and I don't care who I give my energy to. I will give my energy to anyone. I just want to be loved. I just want to be seen. I just want to be held. Like, that is Venus expressing herself in her detriment. And the aligned activated Venus is sophisticated. She has standards. She receives. And every time she receives one level, right, she's not afraid to up the bar a little bit and receive a little bit more and open herself up to a little bit more, right? And this honestly is true for money and in love. And I guess that's why we're talking about Venus, because Venus has so much to do with both areas of our life, just like the earth does. So this is the first thing that you need to balance out in order for you to truly begin to express a balanced and healthy light feminine energy and have the right kinds of men attracted to you. Men can sense when you are not living up to your own standards or not living up to your worth. They can sense that, and it will honestly turn off a man that is, say, coming with everything, right? He has everything to give. He wants to give you everything. He wants to treat you like a goddess, and then he sees you giving yourself away to some loser or not having any standards with the next guy. And so in his head, he's like, wait, like, this isn't the woman that I thought she was, right? Like, I mean, they can fall into two different kind of energies, right? It's the guy who wants to save you and get you out of that cycle. And then there's the guy who's just like, no, like, this isn't what I thought it was. I guess, I can't give this to her because she's not a match, right? So you got to become a match to this higher level energy. And this is one of the first ways to begin doing it. All right. So the second really, really powerful thing that you can begin doing right now in the way that you're showing up in your relationships so that you can be more in your aligned feminine energy through the planet of Venus is to start having a really keen sense of justice. It's kind of like the mean girl kind of energy, right? Where like you feel like you can treat other people a certain way and then come into a room with people that you actually respect, that you actually admire, that you actually, treat like that you want them to see you in a certain way, basically. So all of a sudden you have this different kind of demeanor. you're not as pompous, you're not as arrogant. So it's the pompous, mean girl energy where you maybe treat certain people with disdain, disrespect, and obviously, I mean, if you're watching this video, some of you might be aware that you aren't the best person to other people. Some of you might mask the way that you treat others with this reasoning, right? Like you create these reasonings for why somebody deserves to be treated poorly by you. And when it comes to aligning yourself with the energy of Venus, that is not gonna work out because the energy of Venus is harmonious, okay? It's beautiful. It, even if it doesn't necessarily like the energy it's around or like the people it's around, it's still gonna give the courtesy of being kind, being respectful, having this very harmonious, loving energy. And for some women, what I see is that, like, that mean girl dynamic where you think that you can have this energy with other people or in this one area of your life, but then you try to come into your relationships and think that they're not going to sense this kind of energy from you. It's kind of like, you know, the mean sisters in Cinderella. It's like they aren't the beautiful, attractive one that, you know, the prince or anyone really is looking for because of the way that they are. Like their energy is just stank. They treat their sister like horribly because they're jealous, and there's all of these different things going on. So really look at yourself, ask yourself if you have this kind of like mirror, mirror on the wall, who's the fairest one of them all kind of energy. If so, that's really the detriment of the Venus energy being expressed through you. So the way to heal that is by remembering that everyone deserves kindness, everyone deserves love, everyone deserves respect. And for me, the way that I embody this is, especially if I'm going out and I'm going to a party, I'm going to a club or whatever I'm doing, it doesn't matter who comes up and talks to me or says hi to me or whatever. I'm going to treat them with respect. I'm going to appreciate them in that moment for sharing with me, for exchanging words with me. I know there's a lot of women who like they treat men with like this casual disdain when they're out, and they have this like mean mug also on their face while they're out. That is Venus expressing herself in her detriment. So be kind, be appreciative of the people that are around you. Show love, show appreciation. If you don't like someone, if you don't like something, this is where you learn how to effectively communicate, cordially communicate, or just remove yourself from scenarios or from people that are going to bring you into that really nasty kind of energy that you're expressing. This kind of energy is promoted on, and definitely was promoted heavily when I was growing up, with the Mob Wives TV shows, the Jersey Shores, the Love and Hip Hops, you know, the Atlanta Housewives, like the Housewives. It's like all these reality TV shows with women in there, if not about women, and they are expressing themselves in these really mean and nasty ways. It's not something that is attractive. It's not something that is feminine in any way, shape, or form. It's very low class, low value, and it just goes to show how the detriment of Venus is being expressed through women versus the more sophisticated, loving, and honorable state of feminine energy. So this is going to be the last thing that I'm going to share that is going to really, really help you heal your relationship with your feminine energy through having a healthy relationship with Venus. Whenever you feel drawn to compromise, whenever you feel drawn to compromise yourself in a situation or in a relationship with a man, I want you to ask yourself, is this coming from a place of abundance or is this coming from a place of lack? A lot of women feel the need to compromise based off of lack consciousness, feeling like they have to give in to what this man thinks or what this man wants, because if they don't, this will happen, that will happen, all of these like scenarios that make you feel limited, that make you feel like lack is the dominant energy that we're dealing with. You want to really start to ask yourself, am I compromising from that place of lack, or am I moving and flowing and making decisions from a place of abundance? A really good example of this is staying in a relationship, maybe because you have spent a lot of time in this relationship, you have kids in this relationship, maybe even if he's providing everything for you and there's something off, there's something that you know that is not right within the relationship. When you're compromising from a place of lack, you are going to compromise yourself and tell yourself that you should do something you really don't want to do because of all of these practical reasons that have to do with your limitations, right? So he's providing for everything, or we have all these kids together, or we've spent so much time, right? Like that would be you staying in that relationship regardless, right, of what you know your heart desires is compromising from a place of lack. Compromising from a place of abundance is choosing to make the decision that you want this kind of reality for yourself and that you're going to make movements in that direction, even if those movements include getting a divorce, even if those movements include going your own way, starting your own life, whatever it includes, okay? We can also compare this to recently I actually was in a master class and all about seduction. And in this master class, there was a woman, she had a question about how there was a man in her life. He wanted to provide for her during a time where she was like not coming up with enough money for her mortgage. Like she was pretty tight financially. And in the masterclass, her question was like, well, it wasn't really a question. It was more so of like, I don't want to do anything that I don't want to do for money. And basically, like, she was like unsure of which route to go because the way she was thinking about the situation was coming from a place of lack. So basically, you know, I'm in this tough financial situation and I am having a hard time receiving from this man because I have beliefs around this relationship that are centered around lack, which are I have to do things that I don't want to do in this relationship for him to give me this money. I have to be someone I don't want to be, or there's all these things that start to come in your mind that are centered around lack. When you're making decisions from a place of abundance, you're going to say, "Oh, I have this extra money coming in during this time that, I didn't know where I was going to get the money from." So stepping into your relationship with feminine energy through Venus also has a lot to do with you healing any kind of lack consciousness that you are attached to, what you believe about what you're even capable of receiving, and really expanding your mind into knowing that you can receive what it is that you want and what it is that you desire, and not have to sacrifice yourself or put yourself on the back burner in some way, shape, or form or fashion in order to receive the things that you need or receive the things that you desire. That's what really stepping into a healed relationship with Venus and also your feminine energy looks like. Those have been the top 3 things for me that has truly enabled me to step more into my healthy Venus energy. I was born on a Friday, so I naturally have this Venusian energy about me. But I do feel like these are some simple ways that a lot of women are being programmed to express Venus at her detriment instead of expressing her in her exaltation and in her all of her glory and her divine beauty. So that is what I have to share on how to be in your feminine energy and step into a healthy relationship with your Venus. If you're interested in going deeper and working with me, please make sure you send me a message on Instagram at Earth's Feminine or an email at weare@earthsfeminine.com. I have an upcoming 5-week program called Redemption, which is going to be the initiation into what I believe is the beginning of healing your relationship with primal feminine energy. This is going to have everything to do with the body and activating the miracle codes to regenerating your cells. I'm going to be teaching all of the things that have allowed me to connect to my body, understand my body as a messenger of emotions and information, know how to intuitively become one with my body instead of embracing so many philosophies and belief systems that are centered around fear when it comes to our bodies. Also, share with you practical tools and practices that I have embraced that have allowed me to basically reverse age. People look at my pictures when I was a teenager and they're like, you know, how old were you then? I have made great leaps and transformations in my health journey, and I want to share that with you all in my upcoming course or program. So if you sign up and enroll before November 20th, you will get access to live coaching that I will go through within those 5 weeks and be able to ask me questions personally and get more one-on-one time with me than if you were to enroll after. Send me a message to either my Instagram or email to get information on how you can enroll now. Thank you all so much for watching, and I will see you all in my next video.